Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Rangers, and I'm here to talk about Game 36 of the regular season. Rangers win 4-1 over the Anaheim Ducks, and there are going to be duck puns in this video, so prepare yourself for awful jokes. Alright, this was a game that the Rangers won. That's a positive. I know that we won. And simultaneously, you look at shots on goal, you look at the actual score, and you think, wow, the Rangers dominated the game, and this was the most unconvincing domination I have seen by the Rangers in a little bit. A first period that was sort of the definition of mediocre. Yeah, the Rangers outshot them 12-7, but it still was just sort of a first period. It wasn't bad or anything, I'm not going to say that. It was just sort of iffy. A double minor power play that the Rangers didn't score on, which kind of would have been nice. And it was just sort of in the first period. And then in the second period, the Ducks actually struck first. It's in our defensive zone. Troy Terry forces a turnover. He plays it for Isaac Lundstrom, and he puts it past Georgiev. A beautiful pass and beautiful shot. I'm not really putting that on Georgiev. I thought he was as good as you can be when only facing 14 shots. I'm not going to say he was great or anything, because there wasn't enough to know. But this one really isn't on him. Rangers, it was a nice steal by Terry and a beautiful shot, and the Ducks take a 1-0 lead. And at this point, however, the Rangers, you guys see that meme of like the dude who's playing a video game and he's leaning back in the chair and then leans up? That was this moment for the Rangers where they kind of went like, okay, we should probably take it seriously. Relatively soon after that goal, the Rangers would tie it up. This was a pretty nice goal. Rangers are sort of passing it around the offensive zone. Miller to Trouba. Trouba takes a shot. It gets deflected away. Capo grabs it off the boards behind the net, tries to bring it around and force it past Tavares, and it stopped. A beautiful save. And this is a moment where you can see Capo's development. He's no longer, at this point of the season, he's not a scared young kid. He is calm, cool, and collected. He could try to force it around front again and make a couple of quick shots that are pretty meaningless, but instead he takes what the Ducks gave him on this play. Goes behind the net, gives it to a Mika Zibanejad, who had a wide open net, and Mika buries it. Ties it at 1. It was a very nice shot by Mika Zibanejad. I mean, granted, it was pretty wide open, but it was a very tough angle. A quick release by Zibanejad, and just a really nice play by Capo not to panic and just keep forcing it into that angle, and said, no, I will just simply go around the net. It was just a really nice play all around to tie it at 1. And so would end the second period. But the third period was dominated by the New York Rangers, starting with a Jared Tenorti goal, which is not something I thought I would say. Rangers have it in the offensive zone. Hedl has it. He gives it, I'm going to say gives it. I think it was kind of knocked away, but I'm going to be polite and say gives it to Kevin Rooney, plays it out to Jared Tenorti, who takes a shot from the blue line, and it's his goal. He was not the last person to touch it. It was, in all reality, Jacob Peralt, who tips it into his own net. A beautiful tip, just for the wrong team, but I'm not going to complain. Rangers take a 2-1 lead. I can't believe Tenorti got a goal. Later on, nearly in the dead middle of the period, Rangers, once again, have it in the offensive zone. They're passing it around. Fox has it. He plays it to Ryan Lindgren, basically as far back as he possibly could. Lindgren was technically out of the offensive zone, but his stick was in the offensive zone, and so was the puck, so it wasn't offsides or anything. He marches in a little ways, takes a shot, a beauty, a beautiful screen by Tim Gettinger. Gettinger, I hardly know. And he scores. Rangers take a 3-1 lead. And that was it for a while. The Rangers would not score again until, about 30 seconds left with an empty net, and I'll talk about that in a second. But this is what I mean when I say the most unconvincing domination the Rangers have had. The Rangers, at this moment, right, a little bit later on in the period, like a minute and a half left, we're leading 3-2. The Ducks, to this point, have not had a shot on goal in the period, but now they're on a power play and an empty net, so it's 6-on-4, and you're like, man, if we blow this, which is possible, right? It's not like it's not a crazy lead that we have. 2 goals, it's fine, but the Ducks have been interesting this year, and I could easily see them coming back, and if that happens, I might just go cry in a corner. But a hero emerges for the New York Rangers, and it's exactly who everyone thought would have a multi-goal night. That's right, wait, what? That is right, everyone. Ryan Lindgren, noted goal scorer, scores an empty netter to make it 4-1 Rangers. And interesting thing, Ryan Lindgren had 2 goals in the 3rd period. The Ducks had 3 shots on goal. Oof, that's a rough one, huh? Speaking of shots on goal, did you see that the Kings outshot the Red Wings 27-2 in the 1st period? Good lord, that's off topic, but I had to mention it. But that was it. The Rangers escape with a strangely not dominating win where you way outshot them. 40-14 is just ridiculous, and by that metric, yeah, we should have won, but it wasn't. I don't know. It didn't feel convincing. Like, the Rangers obviously played well. The Ducks couldn't establish any control in our zone, and I mean, we were just blocking shots like crazy tonight. So we played good. I'm not going to say anything like that. It was just strangely. You expect to feel a certain way when the shots are that lopsided, and I sort of didn't. I'm still very happy, and I thought we played a very good game of hockey, especially with all things considered, because we were demolished coming into this game. Reeves was out on protocol. Obviously, Panarin and Shesterkin are both out on protocol at the moment, which, you know, your 2 best players, that's going to be rough. But both of them, Hunt, now, which Hunt has been out, I believe, for a couple of days, but Reeves, I mean, we were missing quite a few people. And you look at the 3rd line, which was Brodzinski, Barron, and Gettinger. And you're like, okay, this could be a game where you might not do too hot in, especially against a team like Anaheim, who's pretty darn good this season and is at home. And the Rangers did great. We won pretty convincingly, yet also not convincingly. I've already said my piece on that. Overall, Ryan Lindgren, very good night. Georgiev, I mean, 13-14 is not like a super impressive stat line, but I thought he had a couple of really nice saves in the 2nd period. I'm not going to say he was a passenger or anything. Kakko, again, that was a beautiful assist for his assisted goal for his point of the evening. That was beautiful. It was obviously pretty wide open for Mika, but he got another goal. It's good to see him continuing. Hopefully it's not a hot streak and he's just playing good for the rest of the season. Pretty please, I beg of thee. And that was it. It was a very different game from the Vegas game where I complained about our defense being one of the worst performances by our defense of the season. This was probably the best one. 14 shots against a powerhouse offense team like Anaheim. I will happily take that. This, offensively, I guess, is where I should say my main concern for tonight was, because it just felt that we were a little bit sloppy at times. But again, given how many players we were out, it kind of makes sense. I'm going to just be happy with this win. That's no more complaints. It was a good team win. I'm content. And that is all I have to say for the evening. Rangers have a night off tomorrow. We play Monday at LA and versus the Kings. The start time is 10:30 Eastern. Lord help me. And I'll be here after that. I'll also be here tomorrow to talk about the last Jets game of the season, which simultaneously, I don't know where the NFL season went, if I'm being completely honest with everybody. It felt like that just flew by yet again. I mean, granted, when the Jets are as terrible as they are, anything can fly by. Anyway, but I will be here Monday for the Rangers game. I'll be here tomorrow for the Jets game. And that is all I have to say. So, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And as always, go Rangers.